Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Let's get back to work on the Fokker D.VII. What we are going to do today, at least start getting done today, we're going to go ahead, we're going to fix the tail that I've been in discussion with, and we'll show you as things get rolling. So I've got a whole bunch of fabric still, so we're going to go ahead, get a small little piece of fabric, and I'll show you guys how I'm doing this as we go along. I've just got a piece of plywood, and what the plywood's going to do is I'm going to cut out a little piece of fabric, put some nitrate dope on it, just because I want to go ahead and begin to seal the weave. If I at least get one coat on there, so it's going to kind of semi-lock the weave in place. So when I'm transferring it back onto the tail, it's just not going to fray, and we're going to have problems with the finishing work on it. So let me go ahead, get the bench set up, and I'll bring you guys right back. Okay, before we begin, I want to make sure that the fabric is in the correct direction for what I'm trying to get it to do, because I don't want the ends, the long ends, to fray, just because it's going to make it easier to put it on and to go ahead and finish it. So what you do is on this stuff, you grab it equally across, and when you pull on it, and when I pull this way, you can actually feel that it does not want to stretch in the middle. It's become taut across the middle. If I pull it this way, what it's going to do is it should go ahead, and you'll see it, it tries to rise a little bit. So it's not, so what it's doing is it's stretching this way, but not stretching this way. So what we're going to do is, this is going to be our reference. We're going to go ahead, so when we cut, we're just going to go ahead and just make it parallel with the frayed end, so that way we know we're in the strong section. So we'll go ahead and let's put some dope on this real quick, just to get it to firm up. And I got to lift it off the board before it gets tacky to the point where it does not want to come off the board, because that's going to just make it wrinkle up pretty good. So let me just do this real quick and lift it off, and then we'll see how well it dries without an extreme amount of shrinkage, but at least we know the proper direction we want to have the cuts. Okay, so we're good there. Let's just go ahead and lift this up. Okay, so as that dries, let me get you closer. So as that dries, it might wrinkle a little bit, but we know which direction we want to cut it. The beautiful part about recording is if you forget to turn the audio on, you can't hear what I'm saying. So, all right, so what I did is I started, let me see if I can maneuver things. That'll work. Because of what we're doing here is we're trying to get into this a little quicker than I'd normally like to, but when we're working with the paint and the fabric, and we have a very limited amount of time to get done what we care to get done. So let's just make sure that we've got all this properly taken care of before we jump on to the next step, which is going to be to flip this thing over and hopefully finish the bottom with little issues whatsoever. Alright, now what I'm doing up here is I'm making some little snips so that we can go ahead and wrap it around the leading edge, so it's going to properly attach. And here's where the fraying can happen, because remember, I've got it set up so that it's not going to fray this way, but it may fray on the ends. So just as long as we're careful with what we do, this should be okay. Let's bang it out like this. Okay. Okay, so now this part's done. So let me go ahead and flip the plane over. All right, with a very limited amount of space over here, hopefully you'll be able to see this nicely. I'm just gonna go ahead, put some dope on the plane, and now let's go ahead and start folding this over. And it's something that is the nitrate dope starts to re-soften the weave. That's when you're going to get it, you get the fabric to agree with what you're trying to get it to do. Okay, that's good, that's good. Now let's just go ahead and finish rolling it over. And we are looking very nicely here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut this the way I want to cut it. Let's see if we can get this from a different angle. Right-hand scissors don't live in a left-hand world. What an X-Acto blade does. Okay. All right, very good. All right, let's flip it on over and you can see what it looks like. All right, let's get you guys off the stand so you can get a better look. And how well this is going to focus. Let's get a finger involved so that way you can see. All right, so we went ahead, so it's got the fabric covering the whole thing, how well you can see the fabric texture in it. So this is ready to go ahead, put a couple more coats of nitrate dope on it, and then shoot it with some spray paint. So we've got the top and the bottom covered. And yeah, there you go. And we should be ready to go. So let me get the other side done, and then we'll get this primed and prepped, most likely off camera, and I'll bring you back to see what it looks like when it's done. After a 2-week hiatus out of the shop, because yeah, we've been having fun with snow up here in Chicagoland. Yeah, this is done. I spray painted this about 2 weeks ago, and now it's finally got everything blended in. And you know, with my little sanding job, you can see, because remember I was weathering it, looks a little dirty. We're good with that little bit of dirty. Now with this, of course, we're going to have these things set up so it's the proper distance apart. But anyway, as you can see, we are now at 90 degrees. So all of this problem up here is taken care of, and we'll slide it out, and then they'll slide back, and we'll be looking pretty good. Now, the elephant in the room is going to be this. It's you guys who know what it is, even sitting upside down, this is going to be very interesting just to dive in on this one, to take a look and see what we can do with it. I will be having a shorts video coming up probably within the next week from when this video is posted. It'll be a short because I'm going to have questions for you guys to try to answer. Yep, she is upside down. And we're having fun. Now, let's see. I'll take you back and show you where we're at and what I have to do. This shop is once again a disaster with me looking for certain objects that should have come with the kit. Unfortunately, I don't think they ever did. So let's go take a look at the plane and where I'm at right now, and then we'll take you over to the bandsaw and show you what needs to get done to finish up the little wing on the bottom. I came in, I've got it sit upside down, and I've got the towel on the back side. I come on over. I don't know how well it's going to show, but I've got it set up so that we've got it level. Let's get it down. It's close. I just have to tweak it, so hopefully you can see it. We're pretty much not quite dead on, but really close to it. And I did that just to go ahead and measure how this was up here. Now, see, the problem we have here is that because we've got that little bit of a riser between the two, we're not going to get a solid fix on it. So this is going to be canted up to about here, and I'm going to get little pieces of wood just to make sure we've got this level. And then we're going to go ahead. I got it going the wrong way. There we go. Come on. Anyway, and then I'm going to go ahead and strap this down. Now, the big problem with strapping it down is I never got those little straps with the kit. So what we will be doing over on the bandsaw, we have brass. We're going to be making these straps out of brass, getting the holes drilled out just so that they can pretty much hold the wing on. And I've used brass, and you'll see it. I've got brass set up for the flying wires on the back already. But we're going to go ahead and use brass here for the straps, and everything will be fine. No worries with that at all. So let's head back over to the bandsaw, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, we did the old trick. First of all, with the brass plate, I'll get the measurements on it. I think it's like 80 thousandths brass plate. And what we did is we glued this just to a piece of light ply, and we did the masking tape trick. So you guys have seen this before, at least you've hopefully seen me do it before. It's got masking tape on this part of the brass and also on the wood itself. So that way you're going to put a couple drops of CA, thick CA, down through it. I normally hit the brass side with some kicker and just go ahead and put it together. Just put it on, stick it, and then when it comes time to take this apart, you peel everything off, and you're not ruining the brass because it's the masking tape. It's the only thing holding everything together is masking tape. So we don't particularly care what happens to the masking tape or to the light ply. So let me go ahead. I'm going to get the first part over here set up, and hopefully everything will stay in focus. I just want to make sure that this end here is true to the path going through. So let me go ahead. We'll make a little bit of noise. I'll get the first little thing cut, and then I just got to go ahead and cut off 4 of these, and I'll probably go 5 of them just in case I screw up. All right, and there is 5. Now what we'll do from here is I'm going to keep these things attached to the piece of wood, because what I need to do is I need to go over and I got to drill holes in these things. And it's usually easier for me to go ahead and set up the drill press, and then we'll make the marks and I'll just drill them right through the wood. So that way when it comes time to peel everything off, it's just going to be the final dressing on this brass, and then they'll be ready to install. All right, I do have 5 of these. Hopefully it's gonna focus nicely. They all came out very good. I was very happy with that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave them attached to the piece of light ply. I'm gonna come in, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, I had to make an adaptation. I had to make an adapter for my belt sander because I wanted to be able to come in and do it on the vertical. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to grind off the light ply first, and then I'm going to come around and put little teeny quarter rounds on each corner. And if that's done and I'm happy with it, it's just going to be a little bit of light filing and sanding by hand, and they'll be ready to go on the plane. Looks pretty good. All right, how well that's going to show up, don't know, but you can see the little corners are all corner rounded. So that is how they're going to go on the plane. So let me get these all dressed up, and then let's head over to the plane, let's get her shot. Okay, now let's go ahead. Let's see if we can get these attached. And everything should all be good going in. There's side one. Here comes side two. I'm not cranking it down tight enough to start flexing the brass, not until I get both sides done. All right, now side two. Let's go ahead and get this one started. All right, and there we go. Held in by brass. So what I've got to do from this point is, let me go get them. For those of you guys that have built one of these before, you get these little teeny, I just call them little locating pins, and they got to get soldered into position. So these will come into place here, and I've got to make sure that I've got everything at the right height. So these things will still be adjusted. I've got it close, but I've got to get this thing to sit down inside here better. So I've got a little bit of playing around to do, because like this side here, I've got to do a little grinding. But once these things get set up and soldered into position sideways like that, then the lash straps are going to go right here. So let me go ahead, get these things all prepped up, and then as soon as these are soldered into place, this lower wing, the bottom wing, will be done. It is done. Everything is screwed into place. These pieces are properly soldered in, and this thing is rock solid and it's not going anywhere. So we got this side done, this side here taken care of. So what do you say we just go ahead, we call this a video, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm back in the shop.